Unit 5, Video 11, Real Life Applications. So we're getting into word problems. Example 1. A baseball that is thrown is modeled as a quadratic equation. H is the height in feet of the baseball after t seconds. And the equation is H equals negative 3t squared plus 12t. And it asks us, after how many seconds is the baseball at a height of 9 feet? You would want to prove that you are correct by utilizing a second method learned in this chapter. Show your work below. And why is it beneficial to be able to solve problems by multiple methods? All right, so this first part, what I did is I went and I used the graphing calculator and I typed in this equation right here into the graphing calculator. And then as I stayed down here, I used the graphing calculator and the table feature to find where this was. I'm looking for a height of 9 feet. So we're talking about height. So I'm looking, where does the y equal 9? Okay, and when I did so, I discovered that it was 1 second and 3 seconds. Both of those are the answer. Okay? Now, it asked me to prove that I was correct by utilizing a second method learned in this chapter. Show your work below. Okay, so I know that I'm going to set the height equal to 9, and I'm going to leave this equation the same. 3t squared plus 12t. Now, I can't do what I want to do with this right now. I need to go ahead and move that 9 to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. When I do so, I get negative 3t squared plus 12t minus 9. Right away, I can see that I can pull out a common factor. So I still have my 0, but I can divide everything by negative 3. And then I'm left with t squared minus 4t plus 3. And I'm going to factor that trinomial part there, okay? And I get, keep that negative 3 on the outside. When I factor it, I get a t minus 1, t minus 3. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to take each of them and set it equal to 0. So negative 3 equals 0, never, so that's nothing. T minus 1 equals 0. Add 1 to both sides, and you get t is equal to 1. Check. We saw that on the graph. T minus 3 is equal to 0. Add 3 to both sides, and you get t is equal to 3. Check. So there we go. I've proven using a different method than just using the graph that I can find these two answers. So again, my two answers are right here, the t equals 1 and the t equals 3. All right, part C said, why is it beneficial to be able to solve problems by multiple methods? And here's my answer. It helps to allow multiple methods to attempt when working with problems. Some are solved best by one specific type, while others can vary. And having this, quote, toolbox allows for students to choose which is easiest for them or easiest for the problem. All right, example 2. Dr. Spears played in the basketball game against the Harlem Wizards. True story. She definitely took some shots and made them. Seriously, she did. I did. The function h equals negative 7t squared plus 70t models the height in inches of the basketball after t tenths of a second. So the questions are, after how many seconds is the basketball at a height of 168 inches? You want to prove again that you're correct by utilizing a second method learned in this chapter. Show your work below. And then, of course, why is it beneficial to be able to solve problems by multiple methods? I want us to really think this through. Okay, so again, after how many seconds is the basketball at a height of 168 inches? I typed in the equation that you see right here. I typed it into my graphing calculator, as I'm saying here, and then I went over to my table feature, and then I looked at the table, and I was looking for where was it a height of 168 inches. So where was the y value 168 inches? When I did that, I found 4, and that would be tenths of a second, okay, and 6 tenths of a second. Okay, so now again, we want to prove that we're correct by utilizing a second method learned in this chapter. So I'm going to prove it algebraically again. So I know the height I'm talking about is 168. And I know my equation up here is negative 7t squared plus 70t. So again, as I know, to be able to factor and play the game, I need to move that 168 to the other side. No big deal. You've been doing this for years. Minus 168. Okay? When I do that, I get a 0 over here, which makes me happy. Negative 7t squared plus 70t minus 168. Well, I noticed, because I thought about it before, that there is a common factor I can pull out. So I'm going to pull out a negative 7 from everything. You don't have to. You could still factor it without that, but you're going to get there faster if you see the GCF. But again, you totally can get there without factoring this out. So here we go. And then this was plus 24. So now I need to factor what's on the inside there. Okay. When I do so, the negative 7 stays on the outside. And then I'm left with, it was t minus 6 and t minus 4. And again, I did the factoring using the box method, and I factored it down. So now I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to take all three of those, and I'm going to set them each equal to 0. Okay? So first of all, negative 7 equals 0. Never, okay, so that's not an answer of any kind. T minus 6 equals 0. Add 6 to both sides. You get t is equal to 6, which is what we saw before on the graph. T minus 4 is equal to 0. You get t equals 4, which is again what we saw on the graph. So that was also correct. And then the same question that we asked before, why is it beneficial to be able to solve problems by multiple methods? Basically, I put the same answers because it helps to allow multiple methods to attempt when working with problems. Some are solved best by one specific type, while others can vary. And again, having this toolbox allows for students to choose what is easiest for them or easiest for the problem. And you're going to see in this unit, as we continue, some of you are going to attach yourself to a certain way to solve these problems all the time. And that's going to be your go-to, and that's okay. We're just teaching you that there are multiple ways of solving the quadratic.